I'm gonna need you to get your hand off my thigh, though. Go ahead.
Hey, it's Jordan with TYT Politics. I'm here in the parking lot at Chili's in Flint, Michigan.
Classy.
Ty on my camera. So we came to Flint for a town hall we're hosting tomorrow night, which I'll get to. But the news gods are with us because it just came out, breaking news, that the city of Flint and the state of Michigan in a settlement have agreed to replace 18,000 toxic lead-tainted water lines. The headline sounds good, but if you read the meat of the story, not so great. But headline, in a court settlement over a lawsuit that was over the lead-contaminated water, 18,000 lines will be replaced by the state of Michigan. From the Associated Press, Michigan and the city of Flint have agreed to replace thousands of home water lines under a sweeping deal to settle a lawsuit over lead-contaminated water in the troubled city. A court filing Monday says Flint will replace at least 18,000 lead or galvanized steel water lines by 2020. And the state will pick up the bill, how nice of them, with state and federal money. The state said it will pay $87 million and keep another $10 million in reserve if necessary. Okay, so first of all, this, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here, but they changed the water lines from the Lake Huron to the Flint River in April of 2014. Okay, they will talk about it at the town hall tomorrow night, but they knew there were issues with the water soon after that. But the government, the governor, the city played dumb and said, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with your water, just flush it." Then nationally, it became a story in January 2016. So essentially, the incident that caused this was in 2014, and you're going to change 18,000 pipes by 2020. So what are the people supposed to do now? If you watch TYT Politics this morning, I just interviewed a woman. They're facing forced water shutoffs starting next week for toxic, tainted sludge water that they can't drink. She just told me it takes her up to 160 water bottles to take a bath. She got to wait till 2020 for the water lines to be fixed when this should have happened already. We all know it would have happened already if it was in a nice neighborhood in Bel Air, Upper West Side, Manhattan. So, although it's a victory, these people they've waited long enough. The brain damage, the bone damage, the health issues that they've had. You can't replace people's body parts. That's permanent. And they're still living in this, to them it's normal now, but to brush your teeth, bottled water, to take a bath, bottled water, water filters. They've told the citizens you're safe to drink water with a filter. I'm going to show you tomorrow night that's not true. So it's a victory that they've agreed to do this. By the way, it's not like Governor Snyder and the state just like rolled out the red carpet and said, yes, we'll replace 18,000 lines. They were forced into this due to a settlement because they were obviously culpable for the crisis here. But another thing is the state said it will pay $87 million and keep another $10 million in reserve if necessary. So what you don't hear in the corporate media, so when stories like this come out, they say, oh, great, government being held accountable and doing the right thing. And then they kind of go back to Trump. But how is the state going to pay for the $87 million? That is the question. Because in too many of these situations, the state will pay $87 million and keep another $10 million in reserve. How are they going to do that? Cut schools even more? Make up the money there? Cut fire? Cut police? Cut programs for the poor? Somebody's got to pay for it, and it's usually not the rich, especially when Republicans are the governors, and sometimes Democrats too. So I'd like to know what their budget is for this. It says the state will pay $87 million and keep another $10 million. It also said that the federal government will be chipping in too. I'm gonna be looking into that because I'd like to know where is this money coming from. Because frankly, the residents here have been paying for toxic water, and Flint has some of the highest water bills in the entire country. And they've been paying ever since this happened. So who's going to pay the residents back for that water? Who's going to pay the residents back for health bills up the wazoo that Medicaid does not entirely cover? I mean, a lot of the people I've spoken to this trip and other trips, it's horrifying, the stories you hear. So although this is a step in the right direction, I think right now it's looking, how many would you say? We'll probably have between 100, 150 people tomorrow at Woodside Church. I guarantee you, if I take a little, row of the hands, they're not going to be jumping for joy that they have to wait till 2020 after all the waiting they've done.
Yeah.
And
it
again,
took 2 years to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Like if it's going to take till 2020, by the time they get to 2020, the ones that they put in probably be fucked up.
And by the way, 2020, yeah, that's the date they're giving now, but as in everything in life, there could be a hiccup in 2018 and we're off the pace, and by the time Donald Trump's son is president, they'll be done. God forbid. No offense, Barron. So, better than nothing. But as I'm going to show you tomorrow night, and we have some great people we're lining up, and the residents we're going to talk to, the sheer lack of response to this crisis, which it's a crisis, is criminal. It is. It's criminal. The fact that there are people literally getting notices in their mail that we are going to shut your water off. In some cases, if you're a homeowner with high unpaid bills, we're going to evict you. There are parents being threatened that if your water gets shut off, the toxic water you can't drink or safely bathe in, Child Protective Services might come because you don't have water in the home. So they poison you, and then they take your kids if you refuse to pay it. No, it's not a third world country. That's Flint, Michigan. So good news, I guess, that the state and the federal government are paying this. I know you can't snap your fingers and they can't fix all the pipes tomorrow. But the thing is, why did it take till 2017 for this to happen and only a lawsuit against the state? You'd think if a bunch of rich people had toxic lead donors to Rick Snyder or Donald Trump or Obama, if they had issues, you don't think those pipes would be fixed within a year with smart water being delivered to them in the meantime? And they wouldn't be paying water bills. So if you're poor, oftentimes if you're a certain skin color, if something happens to you, that's life. If the government screwed up or intentionally screwed up, what can you do? And it only takes a lawsuit. So for those of you saying, Jordan, stop being such a Debbie Downer, it's good news, I'm being a Debbie medium. It is good news in terms of finally there's a projected date to change these pipes. But save this video now. I will run around the Chili's parking lot naked if this happens by 2020, and they don't cut poor people and public services to pay for it, instead of taxing wealthy people and corporations. That's my guess. So here's the tease: 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night, Flint, Michigan, Woodside Church. The event description is right here. Click on that link. If you're within an hour drive, forget what's on TV, forget that Tinder date, get on over to the church, baby, because Ty, the crowd, we're not there to have a little, a nice little town hall like CNN does, where we have the audience write scripted questions and we have to approve them. No, there's going to be some fire tomorrow night. And there's going to be some real passion, some authenticity. You're going to see the people's pain, suffering in its rawest form. And you won't be seeing me in a suit and tie. I'm wearing my Flint Lives Matter shirt. And we are going to bring this crisis to the forefront. And I know a lot of people in Flint are a little suspect when people drop in and out. Some people think they're doing it for certain purposes. Listen, there's no money in this for us. There's no fame. This is all to establish this is still a crisis and to light a fire under government and the media behind. Because again, there's no reason this should have ever fallen out of the national discourse. There's no reason national media is not going to permanently be parked out here. But the fact that I can't tell you how many people I talk to that just are just amazed and just gratified we're here. It's almost like you're drowning, and there's just no lifeguards, and you're just left to drown. So if all we could do is bring this awareness back, then that's a great thing. But the quick news: Michigan and Flint to replace 18,000 lead-tainted water lines. Go to youtube.com/TYT Politics. We're going to have videos up from Flint. We have videos up from East Chicago, Indiana, where we just were. Residents there who have been lead poisoned are now being forcefully evicted out of their low-income housing unit within 10 days. So they got poisoned. The housing authority and the city did not help them find new homes. And then they got letters in the mail saying, 10 days you got, here's where you're moving. And shocker, they're moving them to dangerous areas in Chicago. And this was Mike Pence was the governor when this happened. Did nothing for the people of East Chicago, predominantly African-American and Latina. And Mike Pence did nothing. However, he did help a white town with problems with lead in the water months earlier. Met with city officials right away. Within 2 months, that problem was fixed. East Chicago, this has been going on 8 months now that we know of. The lead was in there much longer, but the revelations about the high lead levels. And I spoke with a woman over the weekend at a community meeting who had really powerful words for Mike Pence. You know, pretty much the equivalent. Do I need to bleach my skin and go rob a couple $1 million to get some help? It's real talk, baby. So thank you for watching. Young Turks is on in a half hour, and we will see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. If you're not going to be there, I hope you'll watch. It's live on the Young Turks Facebook page, 8 o'clock. We'll be there. Thanks.